The tennis world expected a tense Davis Cup final, a clash of nations and rising generations. What nobody expected was the emotional earthquake that followed Spain's defeat, and the message Carlos Alcaraz sent just minutes later. A message that stunned fans, analysts, and the entire ATP circuit. Because when the Spanish team fell in Bologna, and when Italy lifted their third consecutive Davis Cup, Carlos Alcaraz, watching from his living room, injured and powerless, posted a message that instantly went viral. Very big. Very proud of you all. A phrase short, sharp and emotional, but also full of meaning. Because this wasn't a typical congratulation message. Not from the world number one. Not during a week where both Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, the two best players on the planet, were absent from the biggest national tournament in tennis. And not after a final where Spain's dream collapsed without their star. For the first time in history, a Davis Cup final was played without world number one and world number two, both sidelined by completely different circumstances. And that absence shaped everything. The atmosphere, the matches, the narrative, and even the legacy of this tournament. White medium star, the two giants missing. A reality the tennis world didn't expect. On paper, the 2025 Davis Cup should have been built around two names. Carlos Alcaraz, the new world number one. Jannik Sinner, world number two and Italian national hero. But instead, the tournament became the story of what wasn't there. Alcaraz, suffering from a hamstring edema diagnosed right after the ATP Finals battle against Alexander Zverev, received strict medical advice. No competition. No risks. Full recovery. For a player who screams passion, competitiveness and national pride, the decision was devastating. But the risk of a more serious injury, one that could jeopardize the start of 2026 and the Australian Open, was even greater. Across the Mediterranean, Jannik Sinner made a completely different call. Not injured, not unable to play, but strategically choosing rest after a brutal season that included tournaments where he was forced to retire due to cramps and exhaustion. Two different reasons. Same consequence. Same shockwave across the tournament. The Davis Cup final without the two biggest names in tennis. A final played by nations stripped of their kings. A final defined by resilience, not star power. And yet, the battles were unforgettable. White medium star Italy's miracle run. No Sinner, no Musetti, no problem. Italy's situation was dramatic. No Sinner, world number two. No Musetti, world number 8, expecting his second child. Two of their absolute pillars. Gone. But what nobody anticipated was the explosion of Flavio Cobolli, the world number 22 who delivered one of the biggest performances of his career. After losing the first set 1-6 against Jaume Munar, he mounted a comeback that shook Bologna. 1-6, 7-6, 7-5. A heroic victory. A decisive point. A nation erupting in blue. Before him, Matteo Berrettini, ranked 56 but reborn emotionally, had defeated Pablo Carreño 6-3, 6-4 to give Italy the first point. Just like that, Italy sealed the championship 2-0, without playing the doubles, without Sinner, without Musetti, but with heart, precision, and unbreakable belief. This victory gave Italy their fourth Davis Cup title ever, their third consecutive trophy, 2023, 2024, 2025, their first title at home in Bologna. A place in tennis history. No nation had won 3 in a row since USA 1968-72. And while Italy celebrated, one man watched from thousands of kilometers away. Hurting, proud, and burning with motivation. Carlos Alcaraz. White medium star, the message that ignited the conversation. From his living room, next to his now famous tablecloth and the trophies sitting on a modest shelf, Alcaraz sent a message simple but powerful. Very big. Very proud of you all. But behind those words was something deeper. A recognition of Spain's incredible fight. A message to silence critics who attacked his absence. A way to defend his teammates. And a reminder that his ambitions for 2026 are bigger than ever. He congratulated Italy. He honored Spain. And he left the world with a feeling. Alcaraz is coming back for revenge. The Davis Cup final in Bologna became the most unusual championship match in modern tennis. For the first time since the ATP began ranking players, the world number 1 and the world number 2 were both absent from a national team final. And yet, The entire world kept talking about them. Why? Because their absence changed everything. Changed the expectations. Changed the tactics. It changed the emotional weight of every match. And it changed the legacy of this Davis Cup. Fans didn't just tune in to watch Italy and Spain. They tuned in to see what would happen without Alcaraz and Sinner. And when Spain fell, the cameras didn't run to the winners first. They ran to one place: Carlos Alcaraz's social media. Because everyone knew his message would set the tone. And it did. White medium star: the brutal reality of Alcaraz's injury. Just days before the Davis Cup, Alcaraz was preparing at full intensity. His training sessions were sharp, his movement explosive, and his energy perfect. Until it wasn't. A sudden pull in the hamstring during the ATP Finals final against Alexander Zverev changed everything. What initially looked like normal fatigue turned into terrifying medical news. Edema in the right hamstring. For most players, this is painful but manageable. For Alcaraz, whose game depends on explosiveness, acceleration, sudden switches, and violent changes of direction, it was a red alert. Ferrero, his team, and the medical staff agreed instantly. No Davis Cup. No risk. No heroics. If he attempted to play, the risk of a full tear was enormous. And that tear would have destroyed his preparation for 2026, including United Cup, Australian Open, his run for history, and his ambition to complete the career Grand Slam. Spain wanted him. He wanted to play. But the body had made the decision for him. And so, for the first time since he became world #1, Alcaraz had to support his nation from home. From the sofa. From the now famous Mantel de Yule living room. From the place the internet turned into a global meme. White medium star: Spain's heroes. And the mountain they had to climb. Spain arrived in Bologna like a wounded army. No Alcaraz. No Davidovic. Carreño recovering from injuries. Munar playing the best season of his life. Granollers and Pedro Martinez carrying the entire weight of the doubles. Against Austria they survived. Against Germany they shocked the world. And against Italy, they fought until their last breath. Pablo Carreño lost to an inspired Berrettini, but he showed the grit of a veteran who refuses to disappear from elite tennis. Jaume Munar, Spain's silent warrior, nearly produced one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. Leading 1-6 in the opening set against Kobali, he forced the Italian star into panic mode. But in the decisive moments, Italy's crowd, momentum and adrenaline flipped the script. Spain had nothing left. Italy had everything to gain. White medium star: Italy's dynasty without Sinner. Many believed that without Jannik Sinner, this Italy would collapse. Instead, they reinvented themselves. Kobali played like a top 10 contender. Berrettini delivered his best performance since 2022. The entire team fed off the atmosphere in Bologna. Their run through Austria, Belgium, and Spain was flawless. 6 matches played, 6 matches won, 0 defeats, 3 titles in a row. It was not a normal victory. It was the birth of a dynasty. Even without their superstar, Italy proved something terrifying. Their structure is stronger than one player. Something Spain could not claim this time. And in the middle of those celebrations, the tennis world looked again at one person. The champion who wasn't there. The champion who had just spoken. White medium star: a message with 2 targets. Spain. And the world. Alcaraz's "very big, very proud of you all" was not just a message to Spain. It was a message to the critics, the fans, the Italian team, the entire ATP world. A message that said, "I couldn't be there, but I'm still here, watching, supporting, thinking, preparing, and above all, burning for 2026. Because this defeat didn't weaken him, it motivated him. Right now, Alcaraz isn't thinking about the Davis Cup loss. He's thinking about making sure it never happens again. As soon as the Davis Cup ended, the world of tennis stopped discussing tactics, lineups, and match points. Instead, the global conversation shifted instantly to one unprecedented fact. The biggest national final of the year was played without the 2 best tennis players on earth. No Alcaraz. No Sinner. And that changed everything. Journalists around the world posted the same headline. The two kings watched the battle from home. It was a poetic twist of fate. A final playing out on Italian soil, without Italy's greatest weapon. A final featuring Spain, without the face of the new tennis generation. Fans knew something massive was missing. Broadcasters felt it, sponsors felt it, and even the players in Bologna felt it. Because without Alcaraz and Sinner, the final became something strange. Something like a gladiator arena where the lions never entered. And yet, the story didn't end there. The moment Spain lost, something else took over the narrative. Alcaraz himself. White medium star, a message that hit harder than the match. It wasn't a long text. It wasn't a dramatic paragraph. It wasn't even about himself. Just two simple words. Muy grandes. Very big. But the impact was enormous. Because those words came from the world #1, speaking not as a superstar, not as a global icon, but as a teammate who felt the absence in his bones. Alcaraz understood that Spain needed encouragement, not excuses. And so his message did three powerful things at once. Blue Circle 1. He congratulated Italy publicly. A gesture of respect toward a nation celebrating a historic three-peat. No bitterness. No excuses. Just sportsmanship. Blue Circle 2. He protected Spain's effort. He let the world know. They fought without me. They fought with heart. They fought big. That matters. That builds unity. That strengthens identities. Blue Circle 3. He reminded the world that he's watching. Not from anger. Not from jealousy. But from hunger. The message was short. But the meaning behind it was gigantic. And every tennis journalist read it the same way. Carlos Alcaraz has unfinished business. White medium star, the absence that changed the tournament. While Italy lifted the trophy, the whispers inside the locker rooms were all about the what if. Players, coaches, former champions, everyone felt it. If Alcaraz had been here, not because Spain would have automatically won, but because Alcaraz shifts the balance of every competition he enters. He changes the energy. He changes the fear factor. He changes the matchups. And he changes the mathematics of every tie. Even Italian journalists admitted it. Without Sinner, we still had hope. Without Alcaraz, Spain lost their sword. Spain fought heroically, but the absence of their king was too heavy to ignore. And that absence added another layer to the story. White medium star, the other absence. Sinner's controversial strategy. While Alcaraz's injury was unavoidable, Sinner's decision was a strategic bomb. The Italian superstar had cramps in previous events, a long season of maximum intensity, the ATP Finals physically draining him, and a monster 2026 ahead. So he did the unthinkable. He skipped the Davis Cup final in his home country. And here's the twist. Italy won without him. This did two things. Keycap won, it relieved the pressure on Sinner. The Italian media had prepared their criticism. But when Italy won, all the knives were put away. Keycap 2, it created a strange contrast with Alcaraz. The world saw Alcaraz, injured, frustrated, wanting to play but forced to stop. Sinner, healthy enough, choosing rest over national duty. Two geniuses. Two different choices. Two different messages to the world. And yet, both missed the final that defined their nations. This raised a new debate. What matters more? National glory, or personal legacy? Sinner chose legacy. Alcaraz was denied both. White medium star, the beginning of something bigger. Despite Spain's defeat, something far more important emerged. A new psychological chapter in the Alcaraz-Sinner rivalry. For the first time, both players watched a major title slip away from afar. Both felt powerless. Both faced criticism. Both became the ghosts of the final. And when the cameras returned to Alcaraz's reaction, fans realized something. The rivalry isn't just on the court anymore. It's everywhere. In every decision. In every absence. In every message. And in 2026, that rivalry is about to explode. When the Davis Cup ended and the celebrations in Bologna faded, the tennis world suddenly realized the real story wasn't the trophy. It was the absence of the two giants who should have been there to fight for it. Alcaraz, Sinner, both watching from home, both dealing with completely different storms. And now, as the 2025 season officially ended, a new narrative took full control of the sport. 2026 will be the definitive year of the Alcaraz-Sinner era. Not a rivalry, not a simple competition. A generational collision on every surface, every Grand Slam, every corridor of the tour. And Spain's defeat, combined with Alcaraz's emotional message, was the final spark that ignited it. Because while Spain fell without him, Alcaraz didn't retreat into silence. He sent a message. A small one, but one that echoed around the world. Muy grandes. Very big. Two words loaded with meaning. Pride. Responsibility. Frustration. And above all, a promise. A promise that he will return stronger. A promise that he will finish what Spain started. A promise that 2026 will not be another year of almost. And tennis fans felt it instantly. Carlos Alcaraz is coming for everything. White medium star of finals without its stars. But a future filled with fire. The Davis Cup ended with Italy lifting their third straight title. A historic achievement. But even during the trophy ceremony, broadcasters kept repeating the same sentence. This final was missing something enormous. Because when the two most powerful players in the world are absent, the story becomes incomplete. It becomes a chapter torn out of a book. A movie with the final scene erased. And yet, ironically, this absence didn't weaken the Alcaraz-Sinner legacy. It made it bigger. Because when the world sees two superstars missing, simultaneously, for different reasons, it sends a message. They are not just players. They are the pillars of the sport. Like Federer, Nadal. Like Sampras, Agassi. Like Borg, McEnroe. Without them, everything feels like a rehearsal. And everyone knows the real show begins in January. White medium star the money war that revealed everything. Just 48 hours after the Davis Cup ended, another bomb dropped. The ATP released the prize money ranking of the year. The results were surreal. Sinner, $19.12 million. Alcaraz, $18.803 million. Difference, just $317,000. This confirmed two things. Blue Circle won. They dominate the sport economically. No player came close. Not Zverev. Not Medvedev. Not Rune. Blue Circle 2. Their rivalry isn't only sporting, it's financial, global, and cultural. Sponsors. TV deals. Ticket sales. Streaming numbers. Everything explodes when Alcaraz or Sinner appear on the screen. And that economic dominance is reshaping the entire ecosystem of tennis. White medium star the message Sinner sent. And why it matters. After beating Alcaraz in the ATP Finals, Sinner delivered one of the most unexpected quotes of the year. If I'm not number one, I want you to be. Millions of fans felt chills. Because at the peak of their rivalry, after a brutal season where they faced each other in Grand Slam finals, after a year where the number one ranking changed hands multiple times, Sinner praised Alcaraz. That moment changed the global perception of the rivalry. It's competitive, but not toxic. It's intense, but not hostile. It's historic, but also human. Both understand something deeper than trophies. They need each other, and the sport needs both. White medium star a final message from Alcaraz. And the future ahead. As Spain packed their bags and Italy celebrated, Carlos stayed silent for a few hours. Then he posted the message. A short, emotional tribute to his teammates. A reminder that he may be injured, but he is watching. He is learning. He is waiting. And above all, he is preparing. Because 2026 will not be a regular year. It will be the year he debuts his Nike personal logo. The year he pursues the career Grand Slam. The year he starts as World No.1. The year Sinner defends the Australian Open. The year both collide again in the biggest stages. And now the entire planet knows. Carlos Alcaraz is coming back with a mission. A mission that begins in Melbourne and ends in history.